With the speed of a 100-meter sprint, I dashed into the classroom. Upon taking my seat, an eerie silence enveloped the classroom, striking me as peculiar. At this hour, the classroom is typically as lively as a bustling marketplace, filled with the sounds of homework being exchanged, notes being copied, breakfast being consumed, and gossip being shared. What could possibly account for everyone appearing as though they had been ensnared by a spell of paralysis today? Even more bewildering was the fact that almost everyone wore a mysterious smile, their gazes vacantly fixed upon the air. A few were gesturing animatedly in front of them, resembling individuals manipulating an invisible touchscreen. "Have you all been possessed?" I whispered to my deskmate, Tao Tao. Tao Tao jolted as if startled by my voice, then stiffly shook her head. And no, not at all. Our homeroom teacher, Mr. Wong, rapped on the blackboard. "I have an announcement. There will be a surprise exam next Wednesday, covering all the material from this semester." Instantly, the classroom erupted in cheers, and I nearly slipped off my chair. What on earth is happening? Although our senior class 7 cannot be labeled as a haven for underachievers, one would not expect to hear such exuberant cheers at the mere mention of an exam, as if they had just won the lottery. Silence. Old Wong looked equally perplexed. "Since everyone is so enthusiastic, let us add another set of mock exam papers." The room erupted in cheers once more. I glanced around skeptically and caught the gaze of the school heartthrob, Zhou Yufeng, who promptly averted his eyes upon realizing I had noticed him. However, I distinctly observed the corners of his mouth twitch, as if he were suppressing a laugh. As the bell rang, students began to gather in small clusters, whispering furtively. Straining to listen, I caught fragments of words: task, points, rewards. "Tao Tao, what on earth are you all up to?" I grabbed my best friend, who was attempting to slip away. Tao Tao evaded my gaze. "It's nothing. I just need to go to the restroom." With that, she fled as if her life depended on it. Just as I was left in confusion, someone suddenly bumped into me from behind. Zhang Hao, our class's sports representative, was walking backward, nodding and bowing to thin air. Got it. You want me to recite the text while in a handstand? I'll get right on it." In a swift motion, he performed a handstand and began reciting the lament of the pavilion, eliciting gasps from those around. "They've all gone mad," I muttered to myself, packing my bag to head home. As I stepped out of the school gate, someone suddenly yanked my backpack strap. I turned to find Zhou Yufeng's handsome, yet exasperated face. It is said that the love letters he receives could fill an entire locker. He lowered his voice. "Lu Xiaoyu, actually don't have a system?" "What system?" Zhou Yufeng displayed a look of realization. "Indeed, you are the only one in the class who hasn't found one." I stared at him in confusion. "Speak plainly." He looked around to ensure no one was listening before hastily explaining. "This morning, the whole class received an invitation to bind to a genius system. Completing tasks earns points that can be exchanged for abilities. However, the first task of the system is to isolate those without it." My eyes widened in disbelief. So all those bizarre behaviors today were all part of the system tasks. But I suspect something is amiss, so be cautious. With that, he hurried away. I stood alone at the school gate, feeling as though the entire world had turned surreal. No wonder Tao Tao had been so hesitant, and no wonder my classmates were acting so strangely. Wait a minute, why was I the only one without a system? Could it be because I arrived just on time this morning and missed the distribution of the systems? I pulled out my phone to investigate this genius system. Suddenly, a message popped up from Tao Tao. "Xiaoyu, tomorrow I have to deliver a letter of severance, but that's just a task requirement. We're still best friends. Just remember that." I thought to myself, this system certainly has a flair for the dramatic.
2.
I dreamt that I had transformed into the crispy layer of a jianbingguizi, being devoured by my classmates in a long queue. Upon waking, I discovered a pink envelope quietly resting beside my pillow. The words "letter of severance" were scrawled across it in fluorescent ink. "Tao Tao, are you serious?" I shouted into the empty dorm room. Upon opening the envelope, I found not only a formal letter of severance, but also a sticky note tucked inside. The task requires it to be delivered in person, but I chickened out QAQ. The system says this counts as completing the task, albeit with a points reduction. I clutched the letter, torn between laughter and tears. Just then, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number read, "Waiting for you at the school gate, Zhou Yufeng." The school heartthrob had just revealed the secret of the system to me yesterday, and today he wanted to meet privately? Surely, It couldn't be that the system had issued a task to silence any non-system personnel? I arrived at school 20 minutes early, only to find Zhou Yufeng already leaning against the wall, engrossed in his phone. Sunlight filtered through the leaves of the phoenix trees, casting shadows on his white shirt. Girls passing by turned their heads to glance at him, yet he didn't even lift his eyelids. I kicked a small stone. Good morning. You're not here to assassinate me on behalf of the system, are you? Zhou Yufeng's lips curved into a faint smile. A new task has been issued. He displayed his phone screen, revealing several lines of text. Daily task. Ensure that non-system Lu Xiaoyu remains isolated 03. Reward. 5 points per person. Special task. Publicly embarrass Lu Xiaoyu. Optional. Reward. 20 points in random attributes. I scoffed. Wow, I'm that valuable? So, how do you plan to deal with me? Douse me with milk tea in public, or spread photos of me in my Pikachu pajamas buying breakfast? Zhou Yufeng closed his screen. I rejected the task, but others may not. Just then, Tao Tao's figure appeared at the school gate. She visibly froze upon seeing us, then glided past us with an awkward gait, resembling a humanoid AI. Zhou Yufeng lowered his voice. Did you see that? Refusing a task results in point deductions. And if points hit 0, there will be a punishment. What punishment? Yesterday, Li Mengyao refused a task and ended up dancing Little Apple in class. I couldn't help but laugh. I remember, the physics teacher turned green. The first class was mathematics, and I found it hard not to observe my classmates. The top student in the front row frequently dropped his pen, asking me to pick it up. A boy in the back passed notes, deliberately avoiding me. Even the usually friendly language class representative shot me a "don't mess with me" look while distributing assignments. During the recess exercise, it became even more pronounced. A vacuum zone formed within a 3-meter radius around me, leaving me standing alone in the middle of the playground like a human lightning rod. This is too obvious. I couldn't help but complain. Zhou Yufeng stood a short distance away, frowning at his phone. I stealthily moved closer to sneak a peek, only to see ominous red alerts flashing across the screen. Warning. The host has rejected tasks multiple times. Cumulative punishment. Recite farewell to Cambridge in a handstand during tomorrow's morning reading class. Upon noticing I was watching, Zhou Yufeng quickly locked his screen. I stifled a laugh until my stomach hurt. Need me to help you record a video? The school heartthrob doing a handstand would surely go viral. He replied seriously. Lu Xiaoyu, haven't you noticed that these tasks are quite peculiar? Before I could respond, the loudspeaker crackled with a harsh electric sound, followed by a mechanical voice. Emergency group task. Win the obstacle relay race during PE class. Reward. 10 points for the entire class. Failure punishment. Randomly, select 10 individuals to publicly mimic a gorilla. The entire playground erupted into chaos. I stared in disbelief as my classmates suddenly turned towards me, their eyes glinting with predatory excitement. Wait, you can't be serious. Zhang Hao dashed over, grasping my hand. Lu Xiaoyu, you must participate in the relay race this afternoon. It turned out that group tasks required full participation, including me, the non-system participant. Observing Zhang Hao's desperate demeanor, I grinned. Beg me. That afternoon during PE class, students from the adjoining class watched our class as fervent training and muttered, "Has class 3 lost their minds? It's just a relay race." Yet they're treating it like an Olympic selection. Zhou Yufeng was appointed as the team captain, sketching tactics on the whiteboard. Lu Xiaoyu will run the second leg. The low net crawl is the most challenging, and her petite frame gives her an advantage. I raise my hand. The person involved is right here. Just before the race began, the system suddenly flashed a message in everyone's minds. Special reminder. If Lu Xiaoyu causes the race to fail, all rewards will be doubled. I felt a wave of stares piercing into my back. Zhou Yufeng furrowed his brow, scanning the crowd, and stepped in front of me. Listen, no matter what happens, don't stop. The race commenced, and our class took the lead in the first leg. As I prepared to take the baton, I suddenly noticed that someone had scattered thumbtacks under the low net. It is undoubtedly true that someone is conspiring to slow me down. How despicable. The air is filled with a cacophony of feigned gasps echoing in my ears. I swiftly grab a cushion from nearby, lay it over the thumbtacks, and execute a smooth slide. In the end, our class clinches victory by a slender margin. When the system's notification chimes, the expressions on my classmates' faces are quite remarkable. Twisted, a blend of joy and disappointment. Task accomplished. Special note, Due to the exceptional performance of a non-system participant, an additional reward of 15 points has been granted. Favorability towards Liu Xiaoyuan. As school concludes, Zhou Yufeng intercepts me at the bicycle shed. The thumbtacks were scattered by Zhao Mingyu today. My eyes widen in disbelief. The study monitor? Even an academic prodigy like him resorts to such tricks? The system magnifies the darker aspects of human nature. Zhou Yufeng hands me a piece of paper. I've compiled the patterns of the system tasks. It may prove useful to you. The note is densely packed with records of task types and timestamps. Just as I am about to express my gratitude, I suddenly hear the sound of sobbing from behind the bushes. Parting the foliage, I find Tao Tao crouched there, tears streaming down her face like rain on a pear blossom. Taozi? Xiaoyu, I'm so sorry. She throws her arms around me. The system just issued a new task, demanding I place laxatives in your water cup. When I refused, it made me break out in acne. She points at the large, inflamed spot on her forehead. Tomorrow, I also have to publicly read the love letter I wrote to the class president. Woe is me. Zhou Yufeng and I exchange glances and simultaneously voice. There is something amiss with this system. On my way home, I ponder Zhou Yufeng's last statement repeatedly. What is the system collecting? The rewards it offers may not be as straightforward as they seem. Suddenly, the streetlights flicker, sending a chill up my spine. If the system does harbor some nefarious plot, then I am the only non-system participant who can act freely. I glance at my phone to see a message from Tao Tao. The system has commanded me to spread rumors of your cheating. What should I do? I grit my teeth and reply, let us play along. Let us entertain it. 3. At the sound of the alarm, I spring up from my bed with the agility of a carp leaping from water, only to trip over the blanket entangled around me and land unceremoniously. Ouch. I rub my knee, grimacing. With a toothbrush in my mouth, I check my phone and see messages from the class group. What? I sputter toothpaste. In the class group, our homeroom teacher, Old Wang, has sent a notification, according to the Academic Affairs Office. The monthly exam originally scheduled for next Wednesday has been moved to this Friday. Please prepare accordingly. The group is filled with a serene atmosphere. Thank you, teacher. We will certainly put in our best effort. It is a stark contrast to the usual lamentations that accompany news of an impending examination in our class. Scrolling through the messages, I spot a late-night message from Tao Tao sent at 2 a.m. Urgent. The system has issued an SSR-level task. The one who defeats you during the monthly exam can earn double points. The entire class is pulling an all-nighter to prepare. Attached is a photo of Zhao Mingyu's desk, piled high with reference books, resembling a fortress built for knowledge. I encounter Zhou Yufeng in the hallway. Today he wears a deep blue sweatshirt, accentuating his pale complexion. I heard the monthly exam is being moved up. Didn't your system leak the questions in advance? The system only assigns tasks, not answers. He suddenly lowers his voice. The new task this morning is quite perilous. Just as I am about to inquire further, a commotion erupts from the other side. Zhao Mingyu strides over with several boys, exuding an intimidating aura, reminiscent of thugs on the prowl. Zhou Yufeng. Zhao Mingyu halts 5 steps away, adjusting his glasses. Even in bullying, he maintains his persona as an academic elite. The system indicates that you refused a task again last night, and now you have the lowest points in the entire class. Instinctively, I take a half step closer to Zhou Yufeng. What does that have to do with you? Zhou Yufeng's voice is icy. Of course, it concerns me. Zhao Mingyu suddenly grins widely. The system has just enabled the point trading feature. I purchased your punishment forecast. Tomorrow during morning reading, you are to recite farewell. Cambridge while standing on your hands, correct? Laughter erupts around us. My fingers tremble with anger. Zhao Mingyu, have you finished your math homework? Of course, I have. He looks on high alert. Isn't the answer to the last question 32? It clearly is. He abruptly halts, his expression shifting dramatically. Did you just set me up? I grin like a mischievous mouse that has pilfered cheese. Oh dear. It seems the system didn't inform you that Old Wang added more math homework to the group last night. Zhao Mingyu hurriedly pulls out his phone to check. The boys behind him have already rushed towards the classroom, wailing. Zhou Yufeng looks down at me, his eyes sparkling with admiration. Your talent for deception is quite professional. I proudly shake my head. That is called wisdom. But are you really going to perform that handstand tomorrow? Zhou Yufeng seizes my wrist and leads me to a fire escape. Once in a blind spot from the surveillance cameras, he releases my wrist. The system is upgrading. Today's task is to defeat Lu Xiaoyu in the monthly exam for double points, but there's a hidden condition. He swallows hard. If the entire class fails to defeat you, the system will forcibly reclaim everyone's points. My eyes widen. So everyone in class is out to get me? Zhou Yufeng pulls out a notebook from his bag. I've organized the key points for each subject. You need to study these over the next 2 days. As long as you score in the top 15, their task will fail. I open the notebook to find meticulously arranged notes, key points highlighted in various colors. Suddenly, I realize, wait, why are you helping me? Aren't you afraid of system retaliation? Zhou Yufeng averts his gaze. I detest being controlled. The class bell rings. Zhou Yufeng turns to leave, and I grab the hood of his sweatshirt. Wait, about that handstand punishment. It's fine. I blurt out. No way. I'll help you solve it. Zhou Yufeng raises an eyebrow. How do you propose to resolve this? Perhaps we could give old Wang laxatives in advance. So he has to take a sick day? Lu Xiaoyu. I was just joking. I wave my hand and dash back into the classroom. Wait for my good news. All day, I am enveloped in an eerie atmosphere, knowing the entire class is plotting to eliminate me during the exam. The most infuriating part is that at lunch, the cafeteria lady serves me a chicken leg noticeably smaller than everyone else's. Has the system infiltrated the cafeteria as well? I raise my measly chicken leg in protest. Annie, this is just too obvious. The serving lady's gaze flits around. What are you talking about, dear? All chicken legs are the same size. After school, Tao Tao secretly slips me a note. Zhao Mingyu has formed a Destroy Lu alliance. They plan to use system hacks to disrupt you during the exam. P.S. Zhou Yufeng received a warning from the system. If he helps you again, he'll face a level 2 punishment. Clutching the note, I ponder deeply. Suddenly, an idea strikes me, and I turn a dash towards the back gate of the school. The following morning before class, an unsettling air of anticipation pervades the classroom. Zhao Mingyu and his cohorts have already claimed the front row VIP seats, and someone has secretly set up a phone. When Zhou Yufeng walks in, all eyes snap toward him. He approaches me with an air of calm. What happened to your solution? I smile mysteriously and gesture toward the podium. The morning bell rings, and our homeroom teacher, Old Wang, steps in, followed by the principal and 3 Education Bureau officials. Students, today there will be a random teaching inspection. Old Wang's face is more contorted than that of someone suffering from constipation. Please read diligently. Zhao Mingyu's expression resembles that of someone who has just swallowed a frog. The entire morning reading session is silent. No one dares to engage in antics like reciting poetry while standing on their hands under the watchful gaze of the authorities. Zhou Yufeng gives me a thumbs up beneath the desk. I returned his smug expression with a mocking grin. As soon as the bell rang, the system's alert echoed in everyone's minds. The punishment task was not executed due to external interference. Activating compensation mechanism. Host Zhou Yufeng must publicly embarrass Lu Xiaoyu before the end of today's classes. Failure penalty. 24 hours of blurred vision. Zhou Yufeng clenched his pen tightly. I cast a furtive glance at his profile and observed his jawline taut, resembling a bowstring pulled to its limit. Tao Tao had discreetly informed me of this predicament. I poked Zhou Yufeng's arm with the pen cap and suggested, why not just complete it casually? Like saying I have leaves in my hair or something. Impossible, he replied, his voice as hard as stone. Then you'll end up half-blind. Zhou Yufeng turned to look at me and stated, worth it. That single word ignited a fireworks display in my mind. 10 minutes before the dismissal bell, Zhou Yufeng suddenly raised his hand. Teacher, my eyes are a bit uncomfortable. May I go to the infirmary? Just as Old Wang was about to nod, Zhao Mingyu interjected with a sarcastic tone. Are you trying to evade your punishment task? Zhou Yufeng calmly removed his glasses. My pupils have started to lose focus. I craned my neck to take a look. Goodness, he had somehow conjured a bloodshot appearance that made him look genuinely ill. Under the astonished gazes of the class, Zhou Yufeng fumbled to pack his bag and accidentally knocked over Zhao Mingyu's water cup. Just before exiting the classroom, he subtly winked in my direction while closing the door. I lowered my head to stifle a laugh and noticed a note on the ground, likely accidentally dropped by Zhou Yufeng. It read, tomorrow morning at 7. Wait for me at the school gate. I'll show you something. I tucked the note into my textbook. In a class filled with extraordinary individuals, There existed one who would rather become half-blind than harm me. Perhaps it wasn't so bad after all. 4. At 7:15 a.m., 15 minutes past the agreed time, there was not a single shadow in sight, not even a ghostly figure. Just as I contemplated whether to send Zhou Yufeng 100 emojis depicting a pigeon getting struck by lightning for standing me up, something lightly poked my back.
Ah!
I jumped and spun around, nearly colliding with the blind cane. And there stood Zhou Yufeng, donning sunglasses.
Can you really not see?
I asked, waving my hand in front of his eyes. He grasped my wrist with precision. It's just blurry, not complete blindness. He handed me a paper bag, breakfast. Inside were 2 steaming egg pancakes, the aroma of scallions wafting into my nostrils. I took a big bite and mumbled, "So, what are you going to show me? Is it like a blind man's experience?" "Follow me," he instructed. Zhou Yufeng skillfully tapped the ground with his cane as he walked, as if he had been blind for a decade. I followed him to a small storage room behind the laboratory building, a place that had been locked for ages, rumored to be filled with the discarded memories of past students. In reality, it was just unwashed gym clothes and expired snacks. I was astonished when Zhou Yufeng produced a key. "Where did you get that key? It's not a superpower from the system, is it?" "I received it when I was assigned as the lab administrator last year." He pushed the door open, and dust danced in the sunlight. "There are no surveillance cameras here." The storage room was cluttered with miscellaneous items, but the central area was clearly cleaned up, featuring a makeshift workspace made from several desks. The walls were plastered with photographs of our classmates, each accompanied by dense notes. It resembled the lair of a deranged stalker. As I leaned in closer, I realized it contained the task records of each person. Tao Tao, March 5th, refused task, penalty, 10 minutes of public burping. Zhao Mingyu, March 6th, exceeded task requirements, rewarded with temporary memory enhancement. Zhang Hao, March 7th. I scratched my head. Are you monitoring the entire class? Isn't that a bit obsessive? Zhou Yufeng removed his sunglasses, revealing eyes red as if he hadn't slept in 3 nights. I'm searching for patterns in the system. He pointed to a complex relationship diagram on the wall. All tasks ultimately lead to one objective: to socially ruin me? I stared at the red cross drawn over my photo in the center of the diagram. No, it's to collect emotional energy. Zhou Yufeng's finger traced the lines. Each time a task is completed, the system absorbs the emotional fluctuations of the host and those around them especially.
He paused.
Your negative emotions hold the highest value. The egg pancake in my mouth suddenly lost its appeal. So this thing is an emotional vampire? Zhou Yufeng pulled out his phone to play a recording. I recorded it while pretending to sleep yesterday. The recording captured Zhao Mingyu's triumphant voice. The system said that if Lu Xiaoyu fails this month's exam, we can unlock temporary precognitive abilities. You guys are responsible for passing her the wrong answers while I distract her. Snap. I angrily crumpled the paper bag. Those despicable scoundrels. So you must perform well today. Zhou Yufeng pressed my shoulder. As long as you place in the top 15, their task will fail. I sighed in defeat, but my best score is only 21. I'll help you with intensive training. Zhou Yufeng retrieved a thick stack of handwritten exam papers from under the table. These are the essential topics I compiled overnight. I waved my hand in front of his eyes. Why are you being so kind to me? He replied nonchalantly. The system issued a new task. Get close to Lu Xiaoyu, gain her trust, and earn 50 points. The air stilled for 3 seconds. Zhou Yufeng's lips curled into a subtle smile. Just kidding. I rejected it. I grabbed a workbook and hurled it at him. Zhou Yufeng. Jokes like that could be deadly. He easily dodged. We're running out of time. The exam starts in 2 hours. The next 120 minutes were a true test of human limits. Zhou Yufeng explained key question types at 15 times the normal speed, while I scribbled frantically on scrap paper. Halfway through, Tao Tao sent a text. The Anti-Lu Alliance has deployed disruptors in the exam room. They can receive answers from the system. What should we do? They're cheating. I held my phone up for Zhou Yufeng to see. He pondered for a moment before revealing a villainous smile. Let us turn the tables on them. In the exam room, I sat in the second-to-last row, with Xiao Mingyu directly in front of me. Just before the papers were distributed, he turned around and smirked. Lu Xiaoyu, I heard you've been studying hard lately? I returned his sarcasm with a forced smile. Not as much as you. I bet you dream about memorizing formulas. The invigilator, known for her strictness, was the head of the Academic Affairs Office. As soon as she announced the start of the exam, I noticed a few members of the Anti-Lu Alliance in the front row, their ears faintly glowing with a bluish light. Those were invisible headsets provided by the system. Once the math paper was distributed, I followed Zhou Yufeng's advice and skimmed through the major questions first. The final question, the showstopper, was nearly identical to what he had predicted. Just as I was secretly rejoicing, a small note accidentally fell onto my desk. Unfolding it, I read, "Answer to the multiple-choice questions, ACBDD back." Clearly a trap. I grinned and tore the note to shreds. I steadily completed all the questions I knew, leaving blanks for the difficult ones. With half an hour left before submission, the head of academic affairs suddenly announced, "We received a report that there may be cheating devices in the exam room. Everyone, please stand up for a security check." The members of the Anti-Lu Alliance turned pale. The head of academic affairs approached each student with a metal detector. When she extracted a mini headset from Zhao Mingyu's ear, her expression mirrored that of someone catching a serial killer. "Teacher, this is a hearing aid," Zhao Mingyu desperately protested. The head of academic affairs scoffed. "Then please explain why it is receiving math formulas?" The exam room erupted into chaos. Seizing the opportunity, I completed the final challenging question. As I handed in my paper, I whispered to Zhao Mingyu, whose face resembled that of a ghost. Surprised? The subsequent examinations were not without their hurdles. Someone attempted to swap my answer sheet, but I discovered the plot and reported it. When the bell rang to signify the end of the last subject, I collapsed in my seat, akin to a fish out of water. A quarrel erupted in the hallway, with Zhao Mingyu and the members of the Anti-Deer Alliance hurling accusations at one another. "It's all your faulty headphones. Clearly, it was your incorrect answers." The system promised to provide the correct answers. Zhou Yufeng raised an eyebrow at me. I bounced over, exclaiming, "I feel like I might make it into the top 20. He lowered his voice. "Not enough. You must be in the top 15 for them to fail their mission." 3 days later, the results were announced. Everyone crowded around the notice board. I searched from the bottom up, and upon reaching the 20th position, I found myself absent. The 15th position had no trace of my name either. Suddenly, Tao Tao screamed, "Xiaoyu, you placed 10th. I squeezed to the front, and indeed, I was in 10th place. Zhao Mingyu was 11th, trembling as he stared at the list. "Impossible," the system clearly stated, he muttered, lost in his thoughts. At that moment, the entire class froze collectively. A system prompt echoed in their minds. Mission failed. Punishment mechanism activated. Random punishment. Mimic animal sounds in public, to be executed immediately. What followed was a scene worthy of school history. Dozens of students simultaneously emitted the sounds of roosters and dogs. Zhao Mingyu jumped around like an irate frog, croaking, while Tao Tao was forced to meow, complete with clawing the air. Even the usually aloof literary committee member had to moo like a cow. The academic director's glasses slid to the tip of his nose. What new form of performance art is this? Only Zhou Yufeng remained unscathed, having long since refused tasks, rendering him immune to the system's penalties. We retreated to the edge of the crowd, stifling laughter until our ribs ached. He handed me a chilled bottle of cola. "Congratulations, you've created a miracle." "It is we." I clinked my bottle against his. The bubbles sparkled in the sunlight. "By the way, your eyes. They were covered this morning." Zhou Yufeng gazed towards the raucous crowd, his expression gradually growing somber. "But the system will not let this go." As if to confirm his words, Zhao Mingyu suddenly ceased his frog-like antics, fixated on us with an intensity that resembled that of an enraged beast. "Lu Xiaoyu, just you wait," he said, enunciating each word, his voice low yet sending a chill down my spine. "After school, I discovered a note in my locker. The system has issued an SSS-level task to utterly destroy you. Be cautious." Zhou Yufeng insisted on escorting me home. After a moment of silence, he suddenly asked, "Do you know why the system is targeting you? Because I am too adorable?" He kicked a stone aside. "Because you are an anomaly. The system seeks to exert complete control over the class, but you remain unaffected, akin to a bug in the program." I halted. What will it do next? Zhou Yufeng's gaze drifted into the distance. Upgrade. That evening, the class group chat exploded. Old Wang announced that a midterm mock exam would be held the following week. Almost simultaneously, Tao Tao sent a message. "It's over. The system has issued an ultimate task to completely break you during the mock exam, and even Zhou Yufeng received a mandatory directive." Just as I was about to respond, a new message popped up from Zhou Yufeng. "Meet at the usual place tomorrow. Bring a change of clothes and 3 days' worth of supplies. Are we going on the run? He replied, no, I am going to teach you how to crack the system. Zhou Yufeng, are you sure this thing is edible? I pinched my nose, poking at the dark stew in front of me with a twig. The abandoned warehouse was suffused with a bizarre odor reminiscent of smelly socks mingled with expired curry. Zhou Yufeng sat cross-legged atop a pile of textbooks, diligently noting something in his notebook. Without looking up, he remarked, an essential skill for survival in the wild. We are in an abandoned school warehouse, not the Amazon jungle. I kicked the supermarket plastic bag at my feet. Besides, I brought instant noodles. The system may monitor on-campus spending records. Zhou Yufeng finally lifted his head, and in the sunlight, his eyelashes cast a fan-shaped shadow on his face. But if you insist on consuming preservatives... Stop. Just stop. I tore open the packaging for braised beef noodles. You mentioned cracking the system yesterday. It wouldn't be teaching me how to make dark cuisine, would it? Zhou Yufeng closed his notebook. The system is upgraded. It can now forcibly issue tasks. He pulled out his phone, its screen shattered into a spiderweb, clearly having been deliberately dropped. I attempted to destroy the receiving terminal, but it simply transfers to other devices. I slurped a mouthful of noodles. So physical isolation is futile. He stood up, tearing down a new photo from the relationship chart on the wall. Look at this. The photo depicted our homeroom teacher, Old Wang, adjusting a smartwatch in his office. Does Old Wang also have the system? I choked on my words. Zhou Yufeng's gaze sharpened. Not entirely. I suspect he is an observer. Just as I was about to inquire further, the iron door of the warehouse was suddenly slammed, shaking the building. We both froze, and Zhou Yufeng swiftly pulled me behind him. Lu Xiaoyu, I know you are in there. Something terrible has happened. Tao Tao's voice rang out, laced with panic. As soon as the door opened a crack, she burst in like a cannonball. Her hair a wild mess, as if struck by lightning. The system has issued a group task. The city is coming to inspect next week. And the school is organizing a knowledge competition, requiring each class to send 3 participants. I rolled my eyes. The task is to make me embarrass myself at the competition? Tao Tao stomped her feet anxiously. Completing the task will unlock precognitive abilities for all system hosts. The entire class has gone mad. And Zhao Mingyu even suggested putting a tranquilizer in your water. Zhou Yufeng calmly stated, don't worry, I will help you. The following 3 days were akin to a hellish ordeal. Zhou Yufeng's training regimen was meticulous to the second. We gathered at the school gate at 6 a.m. to study current events, crammed historical timelines during 10-minute breaks, simulated rapid response during lunch, and spent evenings immersed in the warehouse, solving problems until 9 at night. On the 4th day, at dawn, I lay amidst the stacks of materials, weakly exclaiming, I dreamt I was devoured by an encyclopedia. Just a little longer, Zhou Yufeng urged, handing me a steaming cup of something. Drink this. It will invigorate you. I took a sip and immediately spat it out. What is this ghastly concoction?
Gasoline?
Super concentrated coffee, mixed with Red Bull. Zhou Yufeng took a large gulp himself. Zhao Mingyu and his group have already unlocked some precognitive abilities. You saw how smug he was when he submitted his paper 10 minutes early today, right? Instantly re-energized. I exclaimed, another cup. On the day of the knowledge competition, the school auditorium was packed. As a substitute team member, I sat in the first row, clearly observing the beads of sweat on the nape of Zhao Mingyu's neck. He occasionally stole glances at me, his expression akin to that of someone eyeing a ticking time bomb. The host announced the rules. The final round consists of situational simulation questions, where substitute team members may replace the official members. Zhao Mingyu abruptly turned to Zhou Yufeng, who feigned innocence with a shrug. I flashed a peace sign at Zhao Mingyu, and his face turned ashen. The earlier rounds of the competition were uneventful, with our class and Class 2 neck and neck in scores. A pivotal turn occurred in the 4th round, where answering correctly gained 20 points, while incorrect answers incurred a 30-point penalty. Class 2 had already secured 2 consecutive questions, widening the score gap to 50 points. Next question, announced the host, flipping through the cards. May I ask, how old was Lin Daiyu when she first entered the Jiao residence in Dream of the Red Chamber? A profound silence enveloped the room. The question was so obscure that even the top student from Class 2 furrowed his brow in contemplation. Suddenly, Zhao Mingyu trembled with excitement, evidently having received a prompt from the system. He eagerly pressed the buzzer. 10 years old. Incorrect. The right answer is 6 years old. The host replied with a hint of disappointment. 30 points deducted. A collective lament arose from our class audience. Zhao Mingyu widened his eyes in disbelief, clearly perplexed as to why the system would provide such an erroneous answer. Zhou Yufeng silently mouthed to me, "The system's countermeasure has succeeded." It turned out that he had not only been training me over the past few days, but had also devised a method to disrupt the system's signals in the warehouse. I stifled a laugh and winked at him to signal my understanding. As the score gap widened, we finally reached the last round of situational simulation questions. The host announced, "Please send a representative from each class to answer questions based on the video clips. Substitutions are allowed. We will send a substitute." Zhou Yufeng immediately raised his hand. Surprisingly, Zhao Mingyu did not leap up in protest, likely concocting some mischief. Under the watchful eyes of the audience, I took the stage. The video commenced, showcasing a documentary about the extinction of dinosaurs. The host posed the question, "Please summarize 3 indirect pieces of evidence for the asteroid impact that led to the extinction of dinosaurs." Zhou Yufeng had anticipated this question. Just as I was about to speak, a jarring surge of static electricity coursed through my brain. Interference source detected. Initiating countermeasure program. Target: Lu Xiao's language function temporarily disabled. To my horror, I realized my tongue felt as though it were frozen, rendering me utterly speechless. The audience began to stir, and the host kindly reminded, "Class 3, please respond within 1 minute." Through my blurred vision, I caught sight of Zhao Mingyu's twisted smile. The system had foreseen this move. With 10 seconds remaining in the countdown, Zhou Yufeng suddenly stood up from the contestant seat. "Host, I request assistance with the answer." "That's against the rules." The rules allow for team discussion followed by a representative summarizing. Zhou Yufeng spoke rapidly. First, the global iridium anomaly layer. Second, the distribution of impact quartz. Third, the fossil record gap. After verifying the answer, the host nodded in astonishment. "Absolutely correct. Class 3 gains 40 points. Gasps echoed throughout the room. The icy sensation on my tongue abruptly vanished, and I nearly collapsed on the stage. Zhou Yufeng's actions had undoubtedly contravened the system's directives. As the final scores were announced, our class narrowly triumphed by a margin of 5 points. When it came time for the awards, Zhao Mingyu's face was as dark as a pot's bottom, and as soon as we descended from the stage, he seized Zhou Yufeng by the collar. "Have you lost your mind? The system will, I know the consequences. Spare me your concern," Zhou Yufeng replied calmly, prying his fingers away. On our way back to the classroom, my classmates looked at us, as if they had seen a ghost. Tao Tao covertly informed me. The system just sent several urgent notifications, declaring Zhou Yufeng a traitor and advising everyone to steer clear of him. The school bell rang, and Zhou Yufeng unusually hurried to pack his bag and leave. When I chased after him, all I caught was his disappearing silhouette around the corner, along with a note that had fallen to the ground. "Don't contact me tonight. The system is going to enforce a punishment." My heart sank. The next day, Zhou Yufeng did not come to school. Old Wang said he had taken sick leave. However, the message from Tao Tao sent chills down my spine. Zhao Mingyu is bragging in the group chat, claiming the system's punishment for Zhou Yufeng is public humiliation. And they plan to carry it out this afternoon. During the lunch break, I slipped out of school, heading straight for Zhou Yufeng's home. When his mother opened the door, her face was etched with worry. Xiao Feng said he was going to school for some performance. I turned and ran, dialing Zhou Yufeng's number as I sprinted. After a dozen rings, he finally answered, his voice hoarse amidst a cacophony of background noise that echoed like it was in the school auditorium. "Zhou Yufeng, where are you?" "Don't worry about it," he replied. "I'm coming right now." I burst into the auditorium, and the sight before me made my blood boil. Zhou Yufeng was clad in a ridiculous Pikachu costume, dancing to a girl group song on stage. Below, Zhao Mingyu and several members of the Deer Slayers Alliance sat with their phones raised, recording and laughing. "Jump higher." Zhao Mingyu jeered. "The system said you must complete 3 full rounds to lift the punishment." Zhou Yufeng's movements were stiff, resembling a marionette. Anger surged through me, and I charged onto the stage. "Enough." Zhou Yufeng silently shook his head. His face was terrifyingly pale, and his lips were stained with blood. Zhao Mingyu shouted from the audience, "The system's punishment must be completed independently. If you interfere, It will double. Then let it double. I snatched Zhou Yufeng's phone and indeed found the system's prompt. Punishment content. Dance in a costume. If interfered with, change to a duet. Without hesitation, I began to remove my school uniform jacket. Zhou Yufeng stopped me. Lu Xiaoyu, are you crazy? I've been crazy for a while. It's just a girl group dance. I'll accompany you. The music resumed, and like two lunatics, Zhou Yufeng and I twisted about on stage. The costume was thick and heavy, and within 5 minutes, I was drenched in sweat. Yet, seeing Zhou Yufeng gradually relax, I found the absurdity of the scene amusing. You dance terribly, I quipped while kicking my legs. So, do you like a penguin getting electrocuted? He chuckled, sweat dripping from his chin. After finishing the last dance, I collapsed onto the stage in exhaustion. Zhou Yufeng lay beside me, panting. Zhou Xiaoyu, thank you. I smiled. You're welcome, Pikachu. On our way back to the classroom, Zhou Yufeng said, I've found the system's weakness. What? It cannot handle too many variables simultaneously. During the knowledge competition, when I had to execute tasks while also interfering with Zhao Mingyu, the system exhibited delays. My eyes lit up, so if we create enough chaos, it could overload and crash. Just as we were speaking, Tao Tao ran over in a fluster. This is bad. The system has issued a new task, demanding the whole class to unite against you in the midterm exam. Even Old Wang is involved. Zhou Yufeng and I exchanged glances, simultaneously declaring, the midterm exam. This would be the ultimate showdown between the system and its adversaries. 3, 2, 1, power cut. With the snap of a switch, the entire school plunged into darkness. I clutched the USB drive tightly, my heartbeat echoing like a drum. Xiaoyu. The locator shows Old Wang moving in the second-floor corridor. Tao Tao's voice came through the earpiece, low and urgent. The security guard has been diverted. You have a maximum of 15 minutes. I navigated through the darkness when suddenly, a strong hand grasped me. Zhou Yufeng's familiar scent instantly calmed me. Watch your step, he whispered, his warm fingers briefly resting in my palm. 3 days earlier, we had uncovered the truth in the school's basement. Our homeroom teacher, Old Wang's smartwatch was not an ordinary device, but a microsystem controller. In the photos of exemplary teachers plastered on the wall, a young Old Wang from 20 years ago wore the same type of watch. At that moment, Zhou Yufeng's face turned ashen. The system has existed for at least 20 years. It transfers between different classes and upgrades gradually.
Now,
we were about to embark on a reckless endeavor, hacking into the system's main control terminal during the school assembly. The control room door clicked open. It was empty inside. I inserted the USB drive, and Zhou Yufeng immediately began typing code. This was the virus program we had prepared tirelessly overnight to disrupt the system's signals. The screen flickered a few times before a warning box suddenly popped up. Intrusion detected. Activating defense protocols. Zhou Yufeng's fingers moved with such swiftness that they seemed to leave afterimages. This is bad. It's initiating a reverse trace. Before his words could settle, the auditorium speakers erupted with a piercing electric crackle. Then came Old Wang's voice. Students, please remain calm. There is a power system failure. Suddenly, the control room door was flung open. Zhao Mingyu stood at the threshold, his eyes emitting an unnatural blue glow, flanked by several classmates who bore similar vacant expressions. Locate the traitor, he commanded, his tone reminiscent of an electronic synth. Initiate the purge protocol. I seized a chair and positioned it in front of Zhou Yufeng. You are under system control. Wake up. Zhao Mingyu advanced mechanically, the corners of his mouth twisting into a grotesque grin. The system obeys flawlessly. In a moment of dire urgency, a pink figure suddenly lunged from the side, colliding with Zhao Mingyu and causing him to stagger.
it was Tao Tao.
Her hair was disheveled, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth, yet her gaze remained clear. Xiaoyu, run. She clung desperately to Zhao Mingyu's waist. Zhou Yufeng is right. Love and friendship are variables beyond the system's comprehension. I turned a glance at Zhou Yufeng. He was furiously hammering the keyboard, the progress bar on the screen inching towards 9899. It worked. A blinding flash of white light erupted, plunging the room into darkness. In the ensuing silence, I heard the sounds of bodies collapsing. Then, the backup power activated, the lights gradually illuminating the space. Zhao Mingyu lay on the floor, bewildered. What am I doing here? The other students around him exchanged confused glances, as if awakening from a long dream. The auditorium echoed with a chorus of startled exclamations. What just happened? Why was I dancing to Little Apple? Who deleted all the photos from my phone? Zhou Yufeng sighed in relief, leaning wearily against the back of his chair. The screen flashed a large message. System uninstallation complete. My legs weakened, and I sank to the floor, suddenly aware that my back was drenched. Rapid footsteps echoed in the corridor. Old Wang appeared at the doorway, his face ashen. The screen of his smartwatch lay shattered, emitting faint wisps of smoke. What have you done? That was 20 years of hard work. Zhou Yufeng rose, subtly shielding me behind him. Mr. Wang, the watch on your wrist was, in fact, an experimental device designed to control students, wasn't it? Old Wang's expression froze in place. 20 years ago, an educational technology experiment, codenamed Gardner. Zhou Yufeng continued. Its initial purpose was to enhance learning efficiency, but it devolved into manipulation. You are not the true Mr. Wang. You are merely one of the hosts selected by the system. My eyes widened in shock. What? Old Wang suddenly deflated like a punctured balloon. No, I was among the first test subjects. One of my students, overwhelmed by the system's demands, jumped from the building. A deathly silence enveloped the control room. From downstairs, the principal's voice rang out over the intercom, calling for orderly evacuation of the classes. It's been 20 years, Old Wang said, covering his face, his voice choked with emotion. I tried to resist, but the system merely shifts to the next teacher. I could only attempt to alleviate the task's intensity. Zhou Yufeng paused for a moment, retrieving a small device from his bag. This is a signal jammer. If you cooperate with us to utterly destroy the main control terminal, the system will never activate again. Old Wang lifted his head, a flicker of clarity shining in his murky eyes, and slowly removed his watch. 3 days later, no one recalled the specific details of being under system control. Only a vague sense of having endured a prolonged nightmare. So, what exactly was the system? On the way home from school, I asked Zhou Yufeng, sipping my milk tea through a straw. He squinted slightly, a self-evolving program that sustains itself by absorbing human emotional energy. Old Wang's cohort were test subjects. Our class nearly became sustenance. Wow, that sounds like something out of a sci-fi film, I nudged him playfully. By the way, Tao mentioned that Zhao Mingyu voluntarily requested a class transfer? Zhou Yufeng nodded. He remembers the most vividly and feels the strongest sense of guilt. He paused. In truth, everyone retains fragments of memory. It's just a matter of choosing to forget. I rummaged through my backpack, producing a notebook. Almost forgot to return this. Thank you for helping me review back then. Zhou Yufeng accepted the notebook, and a photograph slipped out.
It was a candid shot taken by Tao.
In the picture, we were both clad in Pikachu costumes, leaning against each other on stage, grinning like two fools. Keep it, he said, placing the photo back in my hands. A memento of our victory over an AI. On graduation day, our class unexpectedly received the award for most cohesive class. Tao was on stage, her makeup a mess from tears. Zhao Mingyu approached me to apologize. Zhou Yufeng, once the aloof heartthrob, was surrounded by a throng of junior students clamoring for his autograph. He had secured admission to a prestigious university with a top 10 score in the province. A ponytailed younger student discreetly asked me, Senior, I heard your class once had a super impressive review system. Is that true? I glanced at Old Wang in the distance, now sporting a regular watch on his wrist. I smiled. It once existed, but it was vanquished by something far more powerful. What was it? Well, I said, exchanging a knowing smile with Zhou Yufeng through the crowd. The end of the text. Thank you for listening, and we shall meet again in the next story.